Regent Park United, soccer offers free children's program despite lack of funding in 2023. Regent Park United is a community soccer club driven by volunteers that gives hundreds of kids a place to play in the city. Their aim is to prevent crime in the neighborhood throughout the power of sports. Their open program and house league of over 100 participants are designed to introduce kids to the basics of the game, including technique, skills, and gameplay. For the past 10 years, Regent Park United has been running free soccer programs for kids in the Regent Park, with all players' costs completely covered by the sponsors and community supporters instead of registration fees. In 2023, Regent Park United was struggling to continue their free soccer programs as they did not get city funding needed to sustain their growing children's program. Although the Regent Park United did not receive funding from the 2022 Social Development Plan called for proposals, the City of Toronto did award another Regent Park club, the Toronto Futbol Athletic Advancement, a grant in the amount of $66,125. James Simm-Smith, Director of Operations at the Regent Park United Soccer Club, talked to Regent Park TV about the impact of the denial of funding by the city, their recent achievements despite the lack of funding, and how this program helps youth at risk in the neighborhood. But before going with James Simm-Smith interview, I was there at the Nelson Mandela Park Public School soccer field on September the 23rd to interview players and Coach Orville Reynolds for the last days of the Regent Park House League summertime program. Now let's hear what they have to say.
Hi, my name is Elias.
My name is Mira.
Right here we're at Regent Park, Nelson Mandela.
We're currently helping out in a soccer program that is running through Regent Park. And what we're doing today, just coaching? Just roughing?
We're coaching, we're helping organizing this whole...
I think it's important because mainly it's free, right? Because a lot of kids, especially the younger kids, they might not have the funds to pay for like teams, like academies, like big teams like that. And so we're just letting them play out here with a bunch of kids in their community. It's a chance for them to make friends, to do something new. A lot of them enjoy soccer. We enjoy soccer as well. We both started in this program a couple of years ago, but we grew out of it. So now we're just giving back to what we were given.
My name's Johannes, and what brought me up to this venture is that I usually volunteer here for the community and stuff. So yeah, and I coach here too. So yeah.
And why do you think that events like this, a free event, football for all, why do you think something like this is important for Regent Park community?
You just scored it, but it's great for the community because it brings the community together, brings the kids together, involvement. I used to be playing here too when I was as little as these guys. Now I coach and volunteer here. So yeah, it's very great for the community and stuff.
I think that's amazing that you're giving back to a program that you were about once upon a time.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want the audience or the community to know?
If you guys got kids if you're from Lower Toronto, close to here, you got kids these guys' age, bring them here, Yeah, get it going.
Thank you so much for your time and enjoy the rest of the tournament.
Yeah,
Thank
you.
you.
Hi, I'm Orville Reynolds at the Regent Park Soccer League, Regent Park United Soccer League finals today. We have the finals being played over here between the white team and the green team. And behind you here we have the yellow team and the red team playing for third and fourth place. They've already played games earlier today, which were both very tight, and everybody's had a lot of fun. We've got about 50 kids on the field right now, and it's going to get really emotional very soon. This is, I think, the third year we've done this playoff format, and every year it's been a lot of fun and a lot of tears and a lot of joy at the end of it. But we have another group as well that's starting after this for a slightly older age group. So we'll have another 50 kids out here for that group in an hour or two. And they're all going to have refreshments, and there's going to be an awards ceremony for the team that wins, and for everybody. And yeah, it's a great day, and we hope that next summer we have even more space and are able to to grow the program a little more.
Coach Orville, I think this is wonderful, and it's a free event on top of that. Why do you think events like this is important for the Regent Park community?
It's important because if you look around, these kids can just walk down from their house and they can play in an organized league with coaches, referees, in an organized fashion. So that helps their development, not just for soccer, but just as far as being in a social environment, working with others, things like that. And it is free, and it's accessible for everyone. We don't rule anybody out from playing here, so it's very easy for them to participate.
I'm James Simm-Smith, one of the coaches involved in the Regent Park United, which is a Regent Park soccer league based out of Regent Park. I help coach a competitive team that I've been involved with for the past several years. We do have a very successful recreational program that I helped start in 2013 that is being going thanks to the good work of Orville Reynolds, who unfortunately was unavailable to attend today. He might show up later. He has some work obligations. However, Orville has done a fantastic job in keeping the league going with a lot of other coaches, Coach Chris, Coach Mohammed. There's so many, I can't name them all. And I can say that I wasn't even pretty much involved in the summer league this summer, in the house league, because I work and coach on the days that the house league has their program here in Regent Park. So despite not getting the funding earlier in the summer, we're still able to run our successful recreational program for all the kids. Now, however, competitive-wise, we were only able to secure one team for the competitive stream, and it was the same team that we've been coaching with for the past 7 years, our 2007-2008 team. We went into a brand new league this year called the Toronto Ontario Soccer League. We went into Division 1, and unfortunately, we had a lot of, these kids are now in grade 9, grade 10, and things change, priorities change. So at the end of the indoor season last year, which was our first indoor season, a lot of players dropped off, a lot of players moved on to other teams, which is fine because half our team was playing up a year, so a lot of them moved to play with their own age group. And we had to recruit a whole bunch of new players. We got some players from Parkdale area. Again, we cater to a lot of the players who couldn't afford to regularly pay $1,000 to play competitive soccer. So we built pretty much a new team with half the players returning from last year and then brand new players. And we unfortunately couldn't even secure our home fields at the athletic grounds until it was too late. It happens with the politics with our old club. However, we were able to have a home field out in Scarborough. So all our home games this summer was in Scarborough on a Monday night, and a few away games on various other locations. There were 2 games that, the league claims it was luck of the draw, but they gave us a game to play in Nipissing and up in Sudbury on Saturday and a Sunday in August, which we had to decline and default those games because maybe out of our 20 players on our team, maybe 4 players had their parents come to games. The parents are highly involved. The ones who are really much involved, but that's only 2 or 3 of them. And the coaches have to do a lot of the slack. We carpool the kids to games, or they got to take the TTC. They're old enough now to take the TTC. But as the games are late, 9 p.m. on a Monday night, we would drive them home just to get them home safe from Scarborough. So, the challenges have been the transportation. The challenges has been getting everyone to show up to practice this year. As again, when you're dealing with young teenagers, age 14, 15 years old, sometimes they don't want to come to practice on a Friday night or a Thursday night. It was much different when they were younger, when they were 11, 12, 13. Would get 25, 30 kids showing up. Some nights we get a big turnout, some nights we'll get less than 10. So the practices haven't been consistent, and it's affected our gameplay. The team has played well. They've had a lot of success, I think, and growth this season. We've probably won 6 games, lost 4. We still have 2 more games to play. Probably finished middle table. One really fantastic thing is that one of our players that's been playing with us for 3-4 years, we got a scholarship just from networking. We were able to get him a scholarship at St. Andrew's College, which is a prep school, kind of high school, university kind of campus deal. And they're sports and academics, and he excels in both, so he got a full scholarship there. And we have a few other players playing with Dutch United, and some other players moved around to other clubs to play their own age. So despite not getting any funding, we were still able to pull it off this year. However, it is our last year doing this 2007-2008 age group, because next year is U17, and it doesn't make sense for us to volunteer coach for U17 team when by the time you're 16 years old and you're good enough, you're playing League One. So we have 6 players on our team this year who will most likely be training with the U21 and the League One team reserve next summer, which is almost semi-professional soccer. And they got to start at 16, 17 years old. So there will be no longer these older Regent Park team. If we can secure some funding, we'll start with the younger kids again. But who knows? Right now we're just focusing on securing the funding for our permits for a recreational program that runs all winter time now, because we go into the indoor season. We run indoor programs out of Lorne Dufferin and Nelson Mandela on Saturday mornings and on weeknights. And that'll probably just be it for this indoor. I mean, in the past we rented out the docks and had the nice turf field indoor all season, but you know that's very expensive, and there was no funding anymore for it. So despite coaches taking zero of that income and all the money going to the kids and to the permits, we're at a situation where we just have to focus on making sure the kids have the indoor facilities, the gyms, and the school fields that we're practice on currently and for next summer. The growth rate in these kids, the way they have grown as a person, as an individual, has been phenomenal. They're around some negative elements sometimes in this area. There's a lot of positive elements as well. But, for example, here's a situation after a game in the indoor season in February. There is, the game's gets very physical, and people talk and they chat shit, there's a lot of trash talk to each other. And one of our players subbed off and said, "We're going to jump that guy after the game." And I heard that and I said, "No, you're not." I said, "You are representing the soccer club. It's just a game. You leave it on the field and you're not jumping anybody." And I think by reinforcing these things in these kids, they know that there's an appropriate way to act. So they are young gentlemen. Yeah, they're teenagers. They can be silly and stupid, but they know to be responsible. That's for sure. They know that you have to work hard to and be goals and set goals and work and train hard to achieve those goals. They know that. They've learned that because they've had success last summer when we had the undefeated season, and the same amount of work ethic was not put in this year, and we don't have an undefeated season. So they know what it takes to be a winner. They know to listen to your coaches and to be disciplined and hard work. They know to respect the referee, the officials, the other team. They'll just play the game physically. I tell them, you do not get involved. You don't want to get in a fight. You just wait till they get the ball and tackle them really hard. And that's how you get payback. You leave it on the field. After the game, you shake hands. So they've learned a lot of life skills and how to just deal with conflict, deal with competition, losses, wins, disappointments. Sometimes they cannot be the best winners when they win. Sometimes they could be not the best losers when they lose. But they have to learn to deal with it the right way, on both sides of the issue. So they have come up. We've also stressed they have to do well in school. Like if there's a problem, but they're not focusing in school, the parents will tell us, and they won't be allowed to come to practice or not coming for soccer for a while. So we first and foremost, that is the most important thing. Soccer is just an activity they play. If they can get them a scholarship somewhere in university, or if they can make their high school team, that's fantastic. But at the end of the day, they have to grow up to become successful individuals to help themselves and their families and contribute to society. Whether you go to school, universities to get a post-secondary education, or you just get a job right after. We have also helped some of our players get jobs, summer jobs. I have reached out to various organizations in the community and tried to get links to our players to go to them to get job work fairs and job workshops and stuff. However, there's a lot of politics involved in that, because if you're not directly going to that program, they don't necessarily want kids from our program going. So some of our kids, I did send them to other programs, but they were turned away. They weren't given any opportunity because they weren't, I guess, going through that program first or something. I don't know the politics and the details, but all our coaches have done our part in trying to get them jobs. In, like, whether it's one of my organizations that I work in, getting a kid in a soccer camp, or to work for the summer as a summer job, or getting kids the referee licenses to become a referee, or coaching licenses to become a coach. Many of the players have also volunteered in the house league as junior coaches to help with much younger players as well. So for a lot of the older kids from Regent Park who play on our team, has been there for a while, they have had a lot of growth, and we've got to see them grow into young, well-disciplined young men. And the parents are very thankful for that too. We always say it's better to be playing sports than hanging out with your friends getting into trouble. Not to say that that's what everyone does, but I mean, I grew up in Regent Park, and a lot of people would get into trouble, and sometimes trouble is just there whether you don't want it to be there or not. So I feel like when I was growing up, if there are a lot of organized sports and organized activities for us to do, we participate in them a lot more than being on the streets causing trouble, right? Like, you know, I can give it a good example. You know, we had a practice last summer, and it was Victoria Day weekend, and, you know, these guys like to have firecracker fights. It's notorious. Teenagers do it all over, not just in Regent Park, they do it everywhere. And, you know, one of our players who's been with us for a while wasn't at practice. He was out with his friends, causing trouble, doing firecracker fights. And we called him out on it. And he think he got like a little suspension, or he missed. We didn't play him a bit one game. But, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do. We're not their parents. We can't stop them. But it's definitely teaches them, hey, you want to play in the soccer team? You got to act accordingly. You got to behave accordingly. You can't go out there and start getting in fights, causing trouble. And, you know, I've told them as well, like, if you hang around people who do bad things or criminal activity, then that's going to catch up to you. You're almost guilty by association, even if you're not doing anything criminal or illegal, because you're hanging with people who do that. They're going to assume you're doing something illegal too, and you can get caught up in that trouble. So avoid it. We're not saying don't be friends with people, because you can't choose who your friends are in this area. Everyone does different things, but you have to know when to be around and when not to be around, right? So you come to soccer, play some soccer, go home. We don't want them hanging around, fooling around. You know, what they do in their own time is their business, but when they come to us, they come to soccer, and then they go home. And that's how we like to keep it. Safety first, as always. I mean, even sometimes we're concerned. I sometimes think about it myself. I had a friend who got shot here last summer, right on the streets over there. And he was a good kid, and he wasn't targeted. He was walking with somebody else who was targeted, and unfortunately, they all got shot, and he never made it. You know, so yeah, it's definitely a concern that crosses my mind all the time. So we definitely have to make sure that we have like, you know, we have to have a safety call just in case something happens. If there's a shooter, where are we going to go? Where are the kids going to go? We've already had a plan of action plan, emergency action plan. All coaches are supposed to have that when things can happen. And our emergency action plan could be a lot different than what a lot of soccer teams have to deal with, because there could be potential shootings. Thank God there hasn't been one during any of our practices, and I feel like this neighborhood is, the community as a whole is getting stronger and coming together a lot better, so that these kind of criminal elements don't affect us as much anymore, or affect our children as much anymore. And I like to keep it that way. So not just myself, but there's a lot of other great organizations out there that are doing great work to keep these kids on the right path, especially the at-risk youth, the youth that maybe don't have the attention that they need at home because of whether their parents are not around, or they're busy working, or they're taking care of all the other siblings. We want to make sure that our organization and other organizations are all doing their part to help these kids become successful. Football for all means everyone should be able to play football, whether it's at the recreational level or the competitive level. And it should be easily accessible. You shouldn't have to travel an hour and a half or drive 3 hours to play a soccer game. It's ridiculous, especially when you don't have the means to it. All players, whether their religion, whether their sex, whether their orientation, it doesn't matter. If they want to play soccer, go play, and try out or have for fun or competitively, they should be able to. Girls, boys, anybody. And we are open. Our organization is open for everybody. Anybody who wants to come join us and play, we let them. Even with our competitive team, when we practice on Friday nights, people always ask to join us. If you're around the same age group within 2 years, yes, come practice with us. No problem. But you got to put in the work. I tell them all, you got to put in the work. You got to run. You got to do the laps. You got to do the stretches. You got to do the warm-up. And you can practice with us for free. We don't charge them anything for it. Our competitive players this year, we had to charge them a small fee. And again, that's also hard to do because a lot of these players can't even afford a small fee of $150. Maybe several players paid that much this year out of 20. And, those are the kind of hurdles we have to, overcome and things we did deal with. But, yeah, football for all is football for everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. And I find that in some of the more affluent areas and neighborhoods, they have the better soccer fields. They have a lot of the programs with all the equipment, and they have the difference between those areas and ours is they have all the competitive programs as well as the recreational programs. We have tons of recreational programs, tons of leagues, but nothing competitive to compete against everyone else on the same playing field. And that's where I still think we're still lacking in having at least one, like we should have one competitive soccer team in various age groups, at least one basketball team, one baseball team, one hockey team. Who's to say why it can't be done? And it doesn't have to be our organization that runs it. I open up to anyone who can do it. There are tons of coaches I know that would be involved. You can volunteer and fundraise and get the money. We have the money. The money is there. I know the money is there. What are the people doing with the money? Who knows, right? But again, we're here for the kids. Football for everybody. Everyone should have the equal access to playing competitive or recreational soccer. With anything, there's politics involved. Whether it's the social development plan or it's the federal government getting a whole bunch of money to give out to the provinces to distribute money to help at-risk youth. It's all a political game. I have connection. When I talk to people, it's all you got to go through this organization and talk to these people and talk to these people and talk to these people. And I'm like, hey, I just want these kids to play competitive soccer, man. The bill is this. Can we just get the money, someone to pay it, and move on? Like, I can't play the politics. I don't have any time for the politics. I'm there for the end results, right? I'm there to put in the work, the groundwork, the real meat, The politics. I don't like to get involved in politics because there's always someone has a different take on it. Everyone has their side of the story. Yes, I believe that a lot of programs out there need money. Yes, there are programs who really do good things, and there are programs who are startup programs or smaller programs that are not as big but are still getting a really huge size amount of money because maybe they play the right political game or they know the right people. I mean, unfortunately, there's no accountability to the people who get these fundings. It would be awesome if someone got funding. Show us what you did. Show us where the money went. There should be some kind of accountability to people when they get these kind of funds, especially when you're getting $65,000 and you're supposed to run soccer programs and all you're doing is running a practice twice a week for like 7 to 15 kids. I mean, really? You couldn't put one team into a competitive league and spend 5-10 G's or 20 G's to get a team in? Like, or go into some tournaments or travel somewhere and do something, No, it's just, I got this money, I'm just going to run these programs and that's it. And then pay your coaches, paying your staff. So we don't pay anybody. None of us get paid. But every organization does their thing their own way. So I'm not going to be one person to say how they should run it, as long as they're all doing the right things for the kids. Because at the end of the day, it's about the kids in the community. That's really all I care about. So the politics, I couldn't care less, as long as it's going to the kids for programs for them, and they're doing the right things for the kids, giving the kids opportunities to play competitive, to play recreational, to get scholarships, to get job opportunities. There's to get tutoring, education. I mean, it can go on and on and on and on. But yeah, I hate the politics in it. And to speak on that, I know Orville Reynolds, who's put his heart and soul into the recreational program since 2013, and got us running with 3 competitive programs last year, and he was pretty much coaching two of them and helping with our program as well. I think he was very hurt a little bit by not getting the funding, and he's now out-branched to other neighborhoods. So he's running a recreational program in another area in the East End, and doing great work out there. So he said, screw the politics, I'm helping kids. And so what did he do? He went somewhere else to help kids. He's still helping the kids here. He didn't abandon the kids here, but he went to go somewhere else to help more kids, because that's at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We don't care about the politics. We didn't get the funding. Okay, we'll go somewhere else. Maybe they'll give us the funding for the good work that we're doing. But saying that, our Regent Park recreational program, our Regent Park United soccer team, will always be here. It's not going anywhere. We'll be running that every single summer. Now, as to if we can develop a few really amazing players to come out of there to have our own Regent Park team, that's another story. Because that's the reason why the team came together, is that we had started by bringing players to other clubs. Go to Cherry Beach. Go to what's the other club there? I can't remember. But we sent many players to other clubs, and some of them were successful, and some of them felt like the odd player out, because they were kind of the player that didn't have to pay, and maybe sometimes they were the only player of color on their team, and they just didn't feel like they belonged. So some of them quit soccer altogether. They had a bad experience. Some of them still stuck with it. But what I realized is a lot of younger players kept asking, Coach, can we have our own team? When can we have our own Regent Park team? Can we have our own Regent Park team? And we tried to get the funding, and finally we got a great sponsor, Denim Jolly, to come and sponsor our team. And we got it going in 2017 or 18. It's all, COVID messes everything up. But we got a team going, and we had to combine 2 age groups because we didn't have enough for 1 age group. So we combined 2 age groups, and that team's been together for several years now. And that's a team that's had a lot of success. And because of that, we did the same formula with younger teams. But then, as everything, the funding didn't come, and we ran out of the funding. But despite that, I think it was a phenomenal ride. I don't regret anything we did. I loved it. It's going to be nice to have a little bit of free time in my hand now, more free time, because I won't be able to. We won't be running the older team anymore. But and then we still have our Saturday program going on, and I'm still trying to bounce around my schedule. But again, most likely I'll be involved in the Saturday recreation program for the indoor soccer season, and hopefully next summer too. But I only wish that when I was growing up in Regent Park that we had a program like this. We have had more success in the past, but this season, despite with what we had and what we had to go through and how we started with barely a team and funding, it has been very successful. And the kids, you can measure your success, and if the players want it to do more. And recently, our team just beat this team Gil Vicente, a very good Portuguese side. We beat them 1-0. The parents were all angry and yelling at the ref. They had to end the game early. And our players were very pumped and excited, and they kept asking us, they kept asking the coach, what are we going to do? Are we going indoor? What are we doing next year? So they want more. When they're successful, they want more. However, in our experience, they want more until it becomes another obstacle, another struggle that they have to go through, because not everyone likes to always train and work hard and struggle. It's tough, hard work, right? To achieve anything in life, you have to put hard work in, whatever you do. So you want success on the soccer field, you got to train hard. You want success at school, you got to study well, right? So it's the same principles that apply, and I think they're getting it now. But with the soccer, we have to let them know that the older kids right now, they got to move on to other clubs and other opportunities. We will give them a pathway for that. But as far as the funding goes, because of lack of funding, we can't continue the older team. And it doesn't make sense, as I said, when they reach 17 years old, they're going to be playing under 21. They should be playing semi-professional under 21, OSL, League One. If you're not doing that, then you're just playing house league. You can just play pickup soccer with all the men's over here that they do every day, and which a lot of our players do, play pickup soccer with the players over here every day. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to add in our success stories. And, you know, the fact that our kids are doing well in school, they're back to school, they all can make the sports teams, they're good at making friends, great social skills. You know, even the ones that were a little bit in a shell or new to the team have come out of their shell, and they're very sociable now. We've gotten a few of our players to Toronto FC games this summer, some free tickets that were given to us. And a lot of our players have been called up to play under 21 in League One Reserve from our team this summer as well. So one or two of them could probably maybe go somewhere, at least a university scholarship. And good thing with the club that we're with, Toronto Skills, they have about a dozen players playing in Europe right now. So we have a proper pathway for players to go to Europe and play professional soccer if they want to do that or if they're good enough. And we have a few players that can do that now.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on social media, and for more information, check out our website.